Today on the Morning Edition, a concert is coming this weekend to Anchorage to benefit all of those affected by former Typhoon Halong. We'll bring you the details, including who you can expect to see perform. Plus, with holidays right around the corner and costs continually increasing, sometimes it's a heartbreaking decision to give up a pet simply because you can't afford their food during these times. But there are options. How a food bank just for pets in Anchorage is helping those in need. And later, don't call it a comeback, but malls are seeing an increase in traffic from Gen Z, leading to a resurgence in shopping malls across the nation. We'll take a deeper look as the Morning Edition starts now. Good Monday morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us today. We saw a ton of fog over the weekend, but waking up this morning and a little bit yesterday, seeing that beautiful, is it rime ice, hoarfrost that we're seeing?
It's rime ice. Hoarfrost occurs through the overnight hours when we have those clearer nights. But as that sun comes out, and as we did see yesterday, it's going to illuminate those trees and provide very dazzling display. We should see some sunshine today. Of course, we could still hold on to some localized areas of some patchy freezing fog, and we will still see that potential that we could hold on to some cloud coverage today, but largely expecting some sunshine to stick around South Central. Along with it, some colder weather. We're sitting at 19 degrees currently to start off your Monday morning. We do have some areas of the valley where we are seeing those temperatures sitting in the single digits, even colder into the interior where we're seeing some sub-zero values that are taking hold to start off your Monday morning. 15 degrees in Muldoon, 19 in Merrifield, 12 degrees in Campbell Creek. So we do have some temperatures beginning to dip down into the lower teens across East Anchorage. And then as you look across the rest of South Central into the valley, this is where we're beginning to see some of those single-digit lows. 7 degrees in Wasilla, 8 degrees in Talkeetna, while coastal regions, you're seeing those temperatures sitting in the 20s and the 30s. This is the coldest stretch of weather we've seen so far this season, not only for South Central, but the state as a whole, tapping into some of these coldest conditions we've seen so far this season. And throughout the afternoon hours today across Anchorage and South Central, we are going to see those temperatures warming into the mid to upper 20s, possible for some areas for inland locations. Coastal regions will have no trouble climbing into the 30s today, but inland locations will likely stay in the 20s for a good portion of your Monday. This is what we're going to be watching here over the next couple of days. This colder weather remains with us statewide. We've got rain and winds for the Aleutians as well as southeast, while the rest of the state largely stays on the dry side. We're also going to be watching a slow warming trend that does look possible as we welcome in next week. Nothing significant, but we will see temperatures possibly return back near 30 degrees here across South Central. I'll have more on that in that 7-day forecast coming up.
Senators overnight reaching a tentative deal to reopen the government. A procedural vote passed 60-40 with 8 Democrats crossing over to support it. The bipartisan agreement still needs a final Senate vote and then will need to clear the House. The full process is expected to take days and is already sparking division among Democrats about what the deal does not include. Alice Barr has the latest from Capitol Hill.
This morning, compromise in the Senate, moving the nation closer to ending the longest ever government shutdown.
The motion upon reconsideration is agreed to.
A group of Democrats negotiating with Republicans agreeing to fund the government through the end of January and certain departments like agriculture through next September, ensuring SNAP low-income food benefits would extend that long and end a growing crisis over food access.
I was being threatened to be taken away from them as long as this went on. That's crazy.
The deal would also reverse shutdown layoffs of federal workers and guarantee all federal employee back pay. But what it does not include has Democrats divided. Nothing on health care or extending Affordable Care Act subsidies.
Over 20 million Americans are going to see at least a doubling in their premiums in the Affordable Care Act.
Democrats who voted yes say tying a government funding vote to the health care issue simply wasn't working. This agreement includes the promise of a Senate vote on the Obamacare subsidies by mid-December before they expire at the end of the year. And Democrats argue if Republicans vote it down,
they can own the disastrous premium increases that will continue to rise. They will own the fact that Americans across this country are going to lose access to health care.
President Trump and Republican leadership projecting confidence.
It looks like we're getting close to the shutdown ending.
I'm optimistic
though several key steps remain, most notably securing passage in the House, where many Democrats are already voicing opposition. We could see a final vote in the Senate as soon as today. The House is in recess, and members have to come back to Washington to vote, with the hope of wrapping it up and reopening the government by the end of the week before the worst of the pain at airports. A promised 10% cut in flights on Friday to relieve staffing shortages. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
I think we finally have a breakthrough tonight where it looks like we're having the first steps to reopen our government. I've been in discussions with my colleagues, Republicans and Democrats across the aisle for weeks on getting something moving like this.
Senator Dan Sullivan there with his thoughts on the recent news. We've reached out to Senator Lisa Murkowski for her reaction as well to the news of the deal, but I've yet to hear back. Meantime, the U.S. Department of Agriculture threatened to enact financial penalties on states that issued full monthly SNAP benefits for November if they don't undo those food stamp payments. In a major walkback, the U.S. Department of Agriculture is now directing states not to issue full SNAP benefits this month. Just Friday, the department said it would begin fully funding SNAP benefits one day after a federal judge ordered the Trump administration to do so. According to a memo sent out late Saturday, the USDA told state SNAP agencies to immediately undo steps taken to issue full food stamp payments, calling them unauthorized. It also warned that failure to comply could result in the USDA canceling the federal share of administration costs or holding states financially liable for, quote, any overissuances that result from the noncompliance. It's unclear exactly how the USDA expects states to claw back any unauthorized SNAP payments. Here at home, a man is dead following a shooting Saturday morning at an Anchorage business. That's according to the Anchorage Police Department. APD says officers are investigating the shooting. It happened at Fox Hollow Golf Course and Sports Dome on Brayton Drive north of Huffman. Police say they arrived to the scene around 11:45 a.m. where they found a man with trauma to the upper body. Officers and medics attempted life-saving care, but the man died at the scene. Anyone with information is being asked to contact police at 311. Juneau police are asking for help identifying 3 people caught on camera breaking into the Juneau Church of Christ. Officers say about $4,000 in equipment was stolen. Take a look at this surveillance video. It shows the suspects inside between 2 and 3:30 a.m. on October 31st. Officers say about $4,000 in equipment was stolen, including a MacBook Air, a Lenovo laptop, and audio gear. Anyone with information is urged to contact Juneau Police at 907-586-0600. Musicians are using their talents to bring people together for those affected by former Typhoon Halong. The family-friendly fundraiser will bring together musicians from all over the state, like H3, Roland and Roberts Band, and the Hope Social Club. It happens this coming Saturday at Willowa Social in Anchorage, starting at 2 p.m. And don't worry, no matter how much you spend your cash at the event, it all goes to the same Western Alaska Relief Fund put together by the Alaska Community Foundation.
Every single dollar that comes through the door, whether it's buying tickets to the show or donating cash or buying a silent auction item or, whatever it is all going directly to the fund.
It's not the first time singer-songwriter Melissa Mitchell has organized something like this. She created a similar event to raise funds for the devastating Maui wildfires a few years ago. And Alaska's governor has signed an extension to the disaster declaration for former Typhoon Halong's impacts. He signed the original declaration October 9th ahead of the storm. The governor's office says the extension will help maximize the amount of work that can be done before the winter frees up. President Donald Trump also signed a major disaster declaration due to the storm. Anchorage had a surprise visitor over the weekend. Frodo Baggins himself here to perform with his DJ partner. He also caught the Wolverines game. We'll bring you those details next.
Colder weather stays with us statewide. I'll have more on what that means for our temperatures throughout the week. But first at sunrise, 8:53 in Anchorage, 7:35 in Juneau. Your full forecast is next.
And welcome back in. 13 minutes past the hour on this Monday, Aaron. Waking up to a bit of a winter wonderland outside with all that rime ice. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, when we saw that record-breaking snow last week, when we officially saw 8.7 inches from that storm total accumulation through the weekend, we did see some dense freezing fog that settled in across South Central. Yesterday, we saw those clouds clear out, some sunshine. And while we can't rule out some areas of patchy freezing fog this morning, most locations will see some improving conditions. We're still holding on to some cloud coverage, but largely expecting to see a mix of sun and clouds as we start off your brand new work week. Things to watch out for on those roadways this morning: slick and icy roads, more so those side roads. Always make sure during the coldest times of the season to top off with gas, as we could see some delays possible, whether that be accidents or just that slow traffic on the Glen Highway. So always just a good reminder to at least keep half a tank of gas in your vehicle. And always make sure to clean your vehicle as well, as it prevents blowing snow and blinding other drivers who will be driving behind you. Looking at those wind chills across the state this morning: 8 below in Fairbanks, 11 in McGrath, 3 degrees in Kotzebue, even across coastal areas. We're seeing those temperatures anywhere from 10-degree wind chill in South Central to locations from southeast through the Aleutians sitting near freezing. And we're still going to hold on to that active weather through the Aleutians as well as the Gulf Coast region. But as far as most of mainland Alaska, we're going to continue to favor some colder conditions through a large portion of this week. Now, we're still seeing areas of southwest Alaska near Nunivak Island, as well as the Kuskokwim Delta coast, which is seeing some elevated water levels. That has expired as of 6 a.m. this morning, but we could still see some localized impacts for at least the first part of the morning. Looking ahead through the rest of this week, while inland areas of the state continue to remain fairly dry with some colder weather and some sunshine in the forecast, we will continue to see rain and winds pushing through the Aleutians, maybe some localized areas of wintry mix out towards southeast. We'll continue to favor some rain with some areas of some wintry mix in some of those higher elevations. The Klondike Highway, the Haines Highway, will see a better chance of seeing some snow in the forecast. But as far as here across South Central, we're going to stay dry, and we do have a stretch of at least some partly cloudy skies that will stick around the next couple of days. No significant storm system looks to impact Alaska through a large portion of this week. So for today across South Central, we'll see that sunshine beginning to arrive throughout the day. You can see those temperatures warming into the mid-20s, mid to upper 20s. Now, coastal areas will easily climb above freezing today, but you'll favor some breezy conditions. And then as we head into the overnight hours, temperatures back into the teens, maybe some single digits through the valley. So colder weather will be staying with us this week. You see, heading into Veterans Day, we've got that temperature topping out at 28 degrees. We'll stay in the mid to upper 20s through the rest of this week with largely quiet conditions. There is a slight chance we could see some snow this weekend. While we do stay in the 20s, we are favoring temperatures next week, likely warming back into the lower 30s.
Well, Anchorage had a surprise visitor over the weekend. Frodo Baggins, Elijah Wood himself was in town. And if you happen to catch the Wolverines game over the weekend, you may have seen him there as well.
Tonight for the Wolverines is number 30, Liam Ernst. And Frodo Baggins, our center ice
The Lord of the Rings star taking center ice with his, get this, DJ partner, Zach Cowie. How did I not know he was a DJ? The duo spent 2 days at the Beartooth Theater Pub performing under the name Wooden Wisdom, ultimately finding their way to the Sullivan Arena. At least that trip didn't take, 3 movies. We're getting closer to the holidays, and it certainly feels like it with all the fresh fallen snow as well as light displays popping up around Anchorage. Our Joe Allgood stopped by one in East Anchorage to show us the dazzling display.
Lights. It's one of the best things about the holiday season. And as the nights get a little bit longer, Anchorage also gets a little bit brighter as homeowners like this one here on the corner of DeBar and Sunrise light up the night and hopefully bring a little bit of joy and holiday cheer into everyone's lives. If you had to estimate how many individual bulbs of lights are spread out along your property here.
Okay, I think that we've kind of figured out that it's a minimum of 40,000 lights that we have on our property, and clearly that takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
And we've had lights that have gone out once we put them on, and then we'd have to redo them and everything.
And thankfully it's not, back in the days of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, where one light goes out and they all go out.
Everything goes out.
And I know the idea sort of sprung out of this hard time for you, so I wanted to ask you about that. And
yeah, I've got a really loving family, a really supportive family, and really supportive friends. And I've recently lost my husband, and right after that I got diagnosed with breast cancer. And I think first and foremost my family recognized that it was a time to just kind of rejuvenate and bring light into my life again where it hadn't been for a long time.
Joe Allgood, Alaska's news source.
Love seeing all those lights. Really gets me ready for the holidays.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically and stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.